right, everybody, we got another very special guest for you all. I want everybody to welcome to the show Daniel Brodie. What's going on, Daniel?
How's it going, Chris? Thanks for having me.
So, Daniel, it's been a while since you've been on the show. I can't remember if it was for issue 1 or 2 of Morgan's Organs, but I guess since it's been so long, we should do some sort of origin. So, what got you to this point where you were creating your own comics?
So I guess my love for the series kind of just grew out of a passion for the idea. Back in 2013, had this crazy idea for this series about our anatomy. Always dreamed it as a TV show, but realized making comics is a bit more of a good stepping stone into pursuing that idea. So I paired up with a fantastic artist named Robert Jennix, lives in Canada as well. And, we released first book, did really well on Kickstarter, lots of fan excitement. And, it just kept on building off there. Like, I do this because I enjoy it, but I also do it because people enjoy it. So, every year I just keep on making more books because, people are enjoying the stories and until that doesn't happen, I'll keep on just making stories and, hopefully, making people smile, but also hopefully eventually leading to that TV show dream that I still have.
And the book is, as we said, Morgan's Organs. What's your quick elevator pitch for anybody that may not know what the book is?
Yeah, so the quick pitch is it's Pixar's Inside Out, but for grown-ups and a whole lot crazier. So instead of emotions running this college student Morgan's body, it's these group of organ workers that we call organauts. But the thing is, they don't really give a crap about Morgan. They're really selfish. They put themselves first. And so what this means is Morgan's always in a state of chaos, confusion. You just see this sort of conflict, between what the organs want and what, how Morgan responds to that.
So it's been a minute since I've read it, but I remember the first 2 issues we had, like you said, some sort of conflict, and that conflict was either like a disease or some sort of foreign thing coming into the body. So first off, what is the conflict for the newest issue?
Yeah, so I guess while that's sort of my overall elevator pitch, each story I try to go like really different. I try to keep exploring the sort of limits of what this sort of idea could be. And so this one, we go even deeper than we've ever gone before, and we introduce a whole new group of characters. I like to say 1 million and counting. And so we're focusing now on the sperm characters who live inside Morgan. So there's less of like a direct, influence of these little spermies on Morgan's life, but at the same time, they exist, and they have, I guess, a crazy view of what life means because of how little they know. So it's kind of like, it's almost like if I think of like Rick and Morty, like we're kind of going like Tales from the Citadel, stepping away from the organs and Morgan and checking out a different part of this universe. And so most of the story takes place like in this sperm world. Oh man, it's tough to talk about because it's just like so wacky. Like I just tried to take like, basic ideas, like, they come and they go, and then there's new ones, and they come and they go, and they have no idea what's out there. But it's like these like basic ideas or facts of life I tried to turn into this like crazy sort of cult like society where these guys are born, they have no idea what their purpose is except for the leaders that existed before them that tell them what their purpose is. And so their job is really just to train for this purpose. And then when the floodgates open, they discover the horrifying truth of what their life is. And this just happens forever and forever. And so like, as much of it as it's like a true story, I also hope it's like the sort of thing that an audience after reading is like holy crap, like that's what's happening to me day in and day out. And I feel bad for these guys. It's supposed to be like a compassionate story in the end.
I love the one shot story, Tales of the Citadel story idea. I've just been rewatching Rick and Morty, so I literally watched the episode like yesterday or 2 days ago.
Uh-huh.
So fresh reference in my world. I love how we're just bouncing around what's going on here. But was the idea when you made this book for it to always be like kind of one shot stories and maybe to bounce around to different parts of the anatomy?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like I've always wanted to make a TV show, and so I try to take some of that sort of dream and turn it into principles of the series. So for one, I try to make it longer stories. That's why every book's 40 pages. Two, I try to make it feel like you can enter at any time and understand what's going on. So like each story is very much intended to be like sort of self-contained. There's a problem or there's a situation, it gets resolved, people grow, moving on. And so, yeah, like for this one, like, I just, it kind of just lended itself nicely as like the next story, partially because I was just really interested to tell the story, but also because it's such a perfect one shot, pun intended. But yeah, like my hope is like, the character themes, the motivations, they continue throughout, but like, we can drop them in anywhere, in any situation that might be topical or might be interesting to myself or my fans, and we can see how they respond. And like, I feel like in comics, like there's such a almost like hurdle to getting into certain series just because like they're overwhelming. Like Marvel, DC, that stuff's overwhelming to people who aren't like diehard fans because you don't know where to start. Indie books, there's a lot of like, this is gonna be a 6-part series. It starts, it ends, and that's it. Like for this one, I really want it to just feel like this is an open story. I want everyone to feel like they can be part of telling this because we all have, bodies that go through this stuff. And so I just want it to be inviting to audiences. Like, when I go to Comic Cons, people are like, which is your favorite story? I say, this one. I mean, the third one's my favorite at the moment. And people just buy the third one. And I'm like, that's totally cool. You don't have to read the first two to enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. So it has been a minute since you've done a Kickstarter for any of the issues. Was the COVID get in the way of it, or was there a particular reason why there was such a delay between them?
Yeah, so like my goal was originally like try to do a book every year to year and a half. I mean, to be honest, these books, they take a long time, but also, we're still indie, so I have to respect, my team's, time availability. So I had this scripted pretty quickly because the idea was just like really hot in my mind back in early 2020. So it only took me a few months to script, but some really cool stuff happened. I don't know if you've been following some of our updates, but the series actually got optioned for development as a TV show by some Hollywood folks. So a huge part of 2020, 2021 was actually pivoting to focus on that development. So that's partially why, the Kickstarter and also the book launch has been so delayed. Also, just, with pandemic, I wasn't really in a rush, and I wanted to get as much done for this book as possible. I don't want to make, fans wait. So yeah, there wasn't much. I just tried to wait until we're really close to having this book done before launching.
That's amazing news. Did you have you been able to say who optioned it or is working with you?
Yeah. So I mean, the options expired. So I mean, it doesn't really matter. But what I can say is we brought on 2 really fantastic creative pros in the industry. One is a director on Big Mouth. The other one is a writer for Rick and Morty. So that was a huge opportunity. To meet people that I would never have thought I'd be in the same room with. These are folks who have direct connections to some of the biggest streamers, buyers, creatives. So yeah, they're technically EPs on the idea. if this ever does go anywhere, they're part of the show. So we did actually get to pitch the series to a bunch of folks in 2021. It doesn't matter who, but if you can think of a streamer, a buyer, the answer is probably yes. We talked to them. So it's just cool to know that these people have heard of Morgan's Organs now. And, unfortunately there wasn't any purchases, but I mean, it's there, at any time they could, go through the logs and say, hey, we think this is the right series right now for our audience. So just waiting for the call. And until then, just keep on making books.
Good answer. So speaking of the pandemic, at any point during this, you've got a book about the anatomy. We got this whole thing going on. Did COVID come up as an idea at all, or did you want to stay as far away from that as possible?
No, COVID is definitely a future story idea. I already have, some of the ideas for it. It's probably one of those things that COVID is best talked about as a nostalgic moment. So I don't think I intend to do a COVID story next, but I've definitely come up with like the building blocks of what that might look like. I love just the thing about these stories is like, I'm not the writer. I'm just one person who could be writing it, because we all can come up with really fun stories about our bodies. So like, I want people to feel like, hey, like, what do you think? What do you think a COVID story might look like in Morgan's body? Putting you on the spot. Sorry.
Yeah, for me, it's tough because off the top of my head, it's the same as a flu story. Like, it's just a thing coming into the body and they have to fight it off. I mean, I would have to dig deeper into your world because, like I said, I was trying to dig the issues out the other day and I couldn't find them.
Oh, okay.
So I have too many comics. But that's off the top of my head, that's what comes to my mind. So that'd be tough. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so the things that like I've been thinking are like I want the body to feel like a human world. And so the things that the Orgonauts do are things that people would do. So like, to me, Bran is like, he's all about policy and everyone has to keep their 2 meters of distance. And he's coming up with ridiculous rules that don't even make sense. Maybe Bubba the Bladder has been hosting secret parties in the pool, which is, where he holds all the pee. And so when Bran finds out about, these secret COVID parties happening, he puts everyone in lockdown. Maybe like the balls they're getting a little stressed out because they're in too tight of a room together and they need some space. Would
there's just the balls shut down production.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, like maybe the balls are like listen, like we're not here for the for the solos, and Morgan hasn't been seeing anyone, so we're gonna take a hike for a bit. We're gonna go maybe we'll go live in the toe for a while. Let's get as far away from each other as possible. I'll take one toe, you take the other toe.
Okay, yeah. See, this is why you make the comics, because that's I like all that. Yeah. Listen, Daniel, I love the book. Like I said, I was searching high and low to get those issues out to refresh my memory, because I just remember having such a good time reading them. The first 2 issues as they came out, and when I saw you were back, I was the most excited about a Kickstarter I've been in a long time, and I sincerely mean that.
Thank you.
Wow. So I wish you the best of luck with it. But before we take off, tell my audience where's the best place they can find you on, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, whatever.
Yeah, so I have my website. It's morgansorgans.com, plain and simple. Otherwise, we're also probably our main channel is Instagram. Just gotta double check the handle. I think it's Morgs MORGS_organs. So Morgs_organs. We'll be on Kickstarter until I think July 17th. We're about at the moment we're about I think 15% away from our goal. So yeah, if this story sounds interesting, then check it out.
Yeah, so everybody out there, also check the show notes because I'll have links to Daniel's website as well as the Kickstarter itself, because you all better be clicking on it to go fund it just so I can get the book. But seriously, the book's awesome, and I think you'll all enjoy it. So, Daniel, thanks so much for being on the show again, man, and best of luck with the Kickstarter moving forward.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Chris.